Wow, what do you know? It's time for the Pocket Knife Show. Hey, it's Mike on the mic again for another episode of the Pocket Knife Podcast. This is going to be a PG-rated episode. If you're listening near small kids, you might want to wait to hear this one to the end. You have been duly notified, warnified, alertified. I found myself crying after reading an internet meme this morning. It had a painting of a biblical-looking guy, pen in hand, looking pensively off into the dimly lit room he's in, awaiting inspiration. Across the top of the image were these words: "The Apostle Paul entered heaven to the cheers of those he martyred." At the bottom of the picture, you know how memes work, were these words: "That's how the gospel works." I think I responded emotionally because it reminded me of the work God did in my life a decade or two, or has it been 3 decades ago? I know I've mentioned it a time or two in past episodes, but it has bearing on today's topic, so I'll note it again. Every week I attend a Celebrate Recovery meeting at my church. I don't do so to help other people or offer counsel or check up on the ministry leaders. I go because I needed this ministry almost 9 years ago when it started, and because I continue to need it. I have overcome compulsive behaviors of several different stripes through participation in CR meetings. I have gained freedom over big things, which I won't detail here, and smallish things like drinking too much pop and obsessing over social media and entertainment. Every week at my meeting, during small group time, I get to introduce myself. Most weeks when I tell the other men in the group why I'm there, I focus on my current area of struggle, but sometimes I add in a word or two about the things I'm celebrating recovery from. For today's purposes, I'm going to share with you a shortened CR intro. This is where things get sort of PG. Ready? Hi. My name is Mike. I am a grateful believer in Jesus who is celebrating recovery from childhood sexual abuse. I've got your attention now, don't I? Perhaps you're feeling bad for me, or maybe you're feeling bad for you. I know my words might be stirring up stuff in your world. Many people have endured what I've been through, and far worse. My intent is not to trigger anyone, but to set up my story of rescue from anger and hatred and depression. Please hang with me if you can. The story is a good one in the end. Obviously, I'm going to skip a lot of details because of the public nature of the podcast medium. I'll just say that for a relatively short period of time in my teen years, a man who had easy access to me acted inappropriately on a repeated basis. Thankfully, adults in my life who suspected something was wrong asked about it, and I was able to tell all and end the relationship. Did I treat that delicately enough? Shortly after this relatively short period of abuse, my family moved out of town. In a new setting, I started opening up with trusted adults about what had happened. Telling others was somewhat freeing while being terribly fear-inducing at the same time. I was a mess, dealing with life as a teen, trying to process the hurt, angry and hateful toward my perpetrator. I think I was depressed at the time, but I don't have a diagnosis from a professional to confirm that. Before I graduated from college, I mentally chose to forgive the guy who'd wronged me, but I still needed help. Loads of help. Into my story walked Jesus. I was a believer when all this happened, and I didn't check my faith because of it, but I didn't understand how much I needed Jesus to make something beautiful of my situation. I thought I was just stuck. I didn't know how to get out. It's been such a long time ago now, I don't remember the year. I was out of college, and I went to a pastor's conference of some sort, and while there received prayer for healing. And God answered. I remember the sense of release I felt as I truly forgave and was set free. I shouted at the top of my lungs, "I'm free! I'm free! I'm free!" I don't remember if this happened that night or if it was a short time later, but I know it happened. I began praying for this man who'd been my enemy for years. I prayed that he would be rescued from his sin. I found myself desiring to worship God alongside him in heaven, thanking God for his salvation together forever. Crazy, right? Not when you understand grace. I am not worthy of God's mercy, but he gives it to me when I put my faith in Jesus. The man who acted inappropriately toward me is not worthy of God's mercy either. But if he repents, he'll be forgiven and set free just as I was when I turned to God for help. My purpose in being as totally honest and as raw as I can be on the internet today is to open you up to the possibility that God might want to do a miracle in your life and give you freedom. He could be waiting for you to forgive another. He could be waiting on you to confess your sin. Whatever is going on with you, I urge you to turn to Jesus for help. He alone can bring true freedom from anger and hatred and guilt and distress and depression and chaos and. Hi, my name is Mike. I am a grateful believer in Jesus who is celebrating recovery from childhood sexual abuse and praying my abuser finds Jesus too. That's how the gospel works.
Oh no, it's sad, I know we've come to the end of the show.
See you next time.